What's up, Yahoo? I'm Benjamin Kheng. Thank you for having me. I've got a new album coming out very soon. It's called Gloomy Boogie Volume 2, and it's out. Yeah, it's been alright. I think my mental health has been... I think it hasn't really gone up or down, but I've just been made more aware of it with conversations, and I think it wasn't better or worse because of the album. I think it's because I was in a state where I thought of it more and I was going to therapy. Therefore, I felt like I wanted to be more honest with the work I was doing. I think the work I was creating until that point wasn't a very accurate reflection of where I was in my life. And I don't think I've taken the chance to be as honest as I could be in the past few years as opposed to now. I wouldn't say I was dishonest. I just think that I was always either serving a narrative because it was the job, or I was in a band, right? We were just doing pop music, easy stuff. But I think I had always shied away from being brutally honest in the work because I think there was always a fear that when you articulate it, it becomes, you actualize it. You almost birth it into the universe. That's why a lot of men suppress their emotions, right? And don't talk about it, or they just think it will go away. So I think it was that. But then I felt like, I'm 30 plus. It's time to be real, I guess. Yeah, and it I feel like it worked out. I felt really good about it. Yeah. I don't think there was one specific incident that ruptured things, so to speak, but I think it was just a progression of being in this beautiful industry for like a decade now, almost more. I think more than a decade, yeah. And seeing the cyclic nature of things, seeing things come and go, wrestling with my existence, my purpose, relevancy, and then saying, okay, do I have anything to say that's worth people listening to, Or am I adding any value to what's already been out there? And what do I want to be remembered by? Am I saying anything that will actually help people? So I think it was more a product of that than it was like a singular incident in my life. I love a good bathroom break and a social event. I saw this POV TikTok of this, you open the door, blah, 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 and then you and then just, I think, and no shade to any of the events I've gone to, I think it was just like a social energy quota situation. I was just burnt out, and nothing against the people there. I just needed some alone time. But yeah, it was one of those things where I sat in the toilet. I wasn't immediately needed at that moment, I was just like, that must be a nice idea for a song. So I just kind of sang it into my phone as a voice note. And then it's one of those things, sometimes songs take freaking months to write. Some songs take 10 minutes. And that was one of the 10-minute songs. I mean, I did a bit more work after that, but it's one of those songs that just came out. Oh, I'm very practiced. I would say there's a duality to everybody, I suppose, right? And I think most of my friends who are extreme extroverts hit a wall, and then they just, and then okay, they're done for the day. I think I'm like that, but I have conceded that I am more extroverted. I think on MBTI, again, another great internet test. I'm like 60-40, but I used to be so ashamed of saying I was an extrovert because I was like, oh, maybe it's not cool. Everyone that's cool to me is an introvert. Whatever, man. I think I admitted that I do love the right social energy, the right people, when you feel like you're really connecting. I think as you get older, you struggle with small talk a bit, and I felt that. Not that I can't talk about the weather. I love talking about weather. I think the motivation for losing that energy was at first anxiety, right? When you're young, when you're new onto the scene, you're imposter syndrome, these big people, and you have to present yourself a certain way. That takes energy. Then when you're older, it kind of shifts to, do I need to be here. And if you have to be there, you're like, okay, you know, like then you force yourself to find the good in it, you know, and to make it make sense for you. I think the album was a product of me healing, not really the other way around. I used to think it was so, and then I had a really good conversation with a theatre director while I was doing theatre, who told me that it's dangerous sometimes to treat your craft as therapy because you don't always have a good handle on it. And at the end of the day, especially in a discipline like theatre, where it's very collaborative and it's very giving, that if you don't keep yourself checked, thinking of it as therapy can be very dangerous for not just yourself, but for people who listen to it. You know, and then you can get sucked into it. It becomes its own thing, and then you lose yourself in the process. I think for me, the album, especially because it is a departure from my old sound, it's definitely a bit more pop. This album was really for people. You know, it was meant to be shared. It wasn't just like I'm an artist, I'm gonna do my thing, you know. I wanted to create songs that were hooky and fun. So I think it was just a product of me going, I'm healed, but I have gone through this journey, and here's the path I took.